Alright, ptoil going for the standard jump off the elevator in series. We're gonna have to sync ShinyZeni's stream in a bit when it catches up. Zeni getting a clean moonfall off the elevator. Only saves a tiny amount, but every frame was worth a frame. Alright, so for those that missed it, ptoil vetoed low percent ice, and Zeni vetoed max percent GT code. This any percent was Zeni's pick. $59.83 out the door for ptoil. That's very good. Zeni looking for his special setup that can possibly give a 59.87. Gets 59.84. All right. $45.78 for ptoil. And a 46.54 for Zeni. So Zeni a little bit ahead here. ptoil is going to have to cook to catch up. All right, no door bonks leaving. You gotta shoot right there at the bottom of the slope. Clean moonfall at the top of Parlor for Zeni. ptoil going for the non-moonfall strat. All right, got the weave. Oh yeah, I think ptoil is not a moonwalker, so falling behind a little bit here. Let's see if ptoil can get a clean pit room. Oh yeah, those are some clean gap skips. That's the way you want pit room to go. The gap skip is a little bit slower because Samus stops more times. Like every time you go across the gap, Samus resets to 0 forward speed. So it's a little bit faster to jump over them if you can. But you really want to go for the strat that doesn't land in a pit. Clean down back in construction zone for Zeni. Alright, ptoil's having a good time with this. The elevator RNG. So, like, if you're on the edge of the elevator like that, it only checks every other frame that you're on the elevator. So, sometimes you can be sitting on the edge of the elevator and press up and get nothing because it thinks you're standing just to the right. So, we saw ptoil aim up a couple of extra times trying to activate the elevator, and the elevator just didn't read on him. $40.38 bombs for Shiny. That's very close to the record. I think the record bombs time is the 4:37. So, uh, Zenny left the room with 0 missiles, so that's quite the drop scam from Bomb Tour. So you're gonna have to farm the Gamers and Terminator to catch up those missiles. Oh, the first gear dropped in energy because he wasn't full. That's all right. The waivers hooked him up at the end, but that's a few seconds lost for Zenny. Let's see how ptoil goes. Ptoil is on full energy, full ammo, so less of a problem. Well, but Zenny has an extra missile here, so we only had to farm 1 Zila, but you know, it's your muscle memory to farm both Zilas, so even when you only need 1 Zila farm, you still do 2. I have no idea what category ptoil is going to pick for his turn. If I was him, I'd pick RBO, it just makes Zenny sweat a bit. Apparently we've got a small disconnect with Zenny's stream, but we got him back pretty quick, so didn't get to see whether Zenny went for the Kegel mockball in Dakara room. Got a good wall check to pick up that missile early. So like when you're picking up that missile, you're actually holding right, because when you press a direction while spin jumping, it'll check behind Samus by about 1 tile to see if there's anything there, like a wall or an item, so you can pick up items extra far away. Zenny going for his patented farm strat in Green Hill. The hoppers actually normalize the RNG in that room, so if you do the same movement every time, you can guarantee that you will get that big energy and the missile every time. So Zenny figured out the perfect timing to get the drops that he wants there. ptoil doing the more standard mock ball through. Fast, but doesn't give you the energy drops. So. Ah. So we've got some route divergence. Zenny is running a record route of PRKD. ptoil went down mid tower to do KPDR. PRKD is more volatile, but it saves time on elevators and doors. KPDR is pretty safe, and you really want to run the route that you're not going to make mistakes in. That's an interesting pseudo screw through that grab. I don't think I've seen that before. Zenny a frame late on his CWG attempt. Goes for the backup. He's got the right position. And he's got a CWJ across. All right. So clean moat room for Zenny. Those 80% jumps across the West Ocean. You can't hold the jump button too long or you'll bonk and fall in. Can't hold it too short or you'll fall in. ptoil setting up for that great quick kill. Gets in the missile and 3 supers just right. That missile strat at the bottom of wreck ship shaft is interesting. Not sure exactly why that one is done. Let's see how Phantom goes. Are we getting slows today? Are we getting fast? Or just the standard mids? Fast, no mid. We had a slow and looked like the Doppler was not great on that slow. Alright, slow fast. Cleaned it up decently well. Yeah, ptoil picking up that great tank gives him a nice safety throughout Upper North Fair. Essentially, that means that ptoil can be less conservative and more aggressive with his movements and not worry so much about spending energy on taking hits. The great tank is something you want to keep for quite a while into your KPDR runs. It's just not really worth going down to 3 tanks instead of 4 for a long time. Oh, Zeni was full on supers, so he decided to use the extra super on the atomic as a faster way. Oh, that's not a clean attic entry. That's a lucky super drop. ptoil picked up high jump missiles, so probably going 25-10. You don't usually want to bother skipping wave missile until you're really going for fast times. ptoil could also be skipping a moat missile to go for 2010. And moat missile is pretty easy to skip, so 2010 is still in the cards for ptoil. Zeni getting across that bowling. Those spikes do 60 damage each, so can't afford to mess up there. ptoil not doing a farm on the way into speed, so he's only on 1 super. Probably gonna miss with the speed door. Nice crumble jump for Zeni. So the bowling statue drops you onto a block that crumbles away, but if you're fast, you can jump off of it. And we've got this D boost off of the Ripper. The D boost is the fastest horizontal speed you can get without speed boosters. So if you can find a free D boost, you use it. ptoil getting scammed on those bug farms. Did 2 farms and got 1 super, and that's not great. Also didn't get good missiles off those farms. That's pretty bad. ptoil is going to have to find somewhere to farm 2 supers between here and wreck ship. Um, Not terrible because there's the Cax and Red Tower to fill up P12 supers. But you really kind of wish that the bugs would have given more. Zenny coming up here to pick up the Spacer, which greatly increases its beam damage. And Zenny is not going to be picking up Plasma Beam. This Spacer is the next best thing, sort of. We saw Pito skip this Spacer because he's going to be picking up Plasma later. So the tube, the trigger fort, is actually in that upper left, right next to where Zenny laid the power bomb. And if you start moving before the trigger, it doesn't actually break the tube until you press something. So Zenny pressed shoot right before leaving the room to actually break the tube. Super the Sova instead of the door, and that's not great for super count for Zenny. Looks like a clean Alpha Spark for ptoil. Got the grab onto the door ledge so that he didn't have to jump up onto the door. Alright. So that hero shot the ptoil did has specific timing that's different from what you do without the wave beam and without the high jump, so getting that hero shot is good. So Zenny is picking up this ice beam early so that he has it for extra damage in lower Norfair, particularly for the Ridley boss fight coming up. ptoil would be picking it up somewhat later in his run. So ptoil got enough supers from the Cax to get through the green doors and wreck ship. It's not really suffering for supers anymore. Not quite a clean ice escape for Zenny. See P2 sparking over moat, skipping those moat missiles, so he's on 2010 route now. And a nice ocean spark too. Not an ocean fly, because ocean fly is when you do it from the moat room and go through the door with the spark. Alright. Clean speedball into Fantoon's room for ptoil. See what Fantoon has for this runner. I've got a fast. Alright. ptoil setting up for an X Factor. Oh, missed it. Looks like two of the particles hit Fantoon early. So the other two are just zooming around. You can't shoot while there's still X Factor particles flying around. And Fantoon followed up with a slow. ptoil is going to have to take this to the third round. Which was a mid. Alright, so a fast, slow mid for ptoil. So Zenny's going to pause to turn off his wave, ice, and spacer beams right here. Pausing right here actually saves time on lag in the chronic boost room, and we're turning those off so that when we get to the Ridley fight, we can start off with some X factors. Hopefully Ridley cooperates to make those X factors deal all the damage. Alright, so ptoil uses a charge shot and a missile to deal with the atomic. Alright, clean lava spark from Zenny. And a clean attic spark from ptoil. He went back to pick up some extra energy because bowling still kind of hurts even after you have Varia suit. And with speed and high jump, it's difficult to get it in 2 hits. It's pretty common to take a 3rd hit when you have speed and high jump for bowling. Rare power bomb drop from the bug, though. That's only a 2% chance. Alright. Alright. Clean first half of lower warfare for Zenny. Like big energy, and I didn't see what the first drop was from the first Keener. The important thing is to kill 2 of them. Saves you a couple seconds on lag when you lay the power bombs. ptoil has picked up his gravity suit and will now be heading off to Meridia. Alright, so Zenny into that Ridley fight. The bugs didn't give him full supers. He's opening up with these X factors where if you have power bombs selected and 1 beam activated, then when you charge a shot extra long, it'll do a special beam attack. And for wave beam, it's this beam attack. And looks like Zenny got 4 good ones in, so that's convenient. So each of those X factors was equivalent to 4 charge shots off of Zenny's current beam. And Ridley needs a total of 60 shots, plus then the 9 supers count for 18 of those. 18 plus 16 is 34, and then so Zenny'd have to do 26 charge shots after the 4 X factors and the 9 supers. And Ridley is dead. So Zenny has decided to pick up the safety of Ridley E-Tank. He has enough energy that I think he could have skipped it if he was going for a really good time. But as a race safety, this means that Zenny doesn't have any risk of dying on his way out of Lower Norfair. Clean one round botwoon for ptoil. What the? That's a lot of supers. Oh, Zeni using that old Hundo strat for sparking through the Kazans. Figured since he got that Ridley tank and had all this energy, you could put some of it to use and save some time. Offset the cost of going through those doors. Not a good downgrab for ptoil, so he didn't have enough time to do that full halfy spark. And Zeni has all that energy. He just tanks one hit from the Key Hunters and then runs through the rest before the iframes run out. There are some advantages to having spare energy in this game. Rare powerbomb drop from the waiver, alright. Looks like a couple of ptoil's X-Factor sparks didn't connect, so not quite a good enough opening to do the Toon Blue. But a third spark finishes it off and got the spike suit. Alright, let's go. So that means ptoil will be able to spark back across Coliseum on his way out of Meridia. Well, Zeni hasn't Kraid's there to clean up Kraid. He's apparently gotten some growth. Kraid has put on some growth since Metroid 1. He's a lot bigger. There's apparently a chart showing just how much Kraid has grown. And you see that reverse spark from ptoil. ptoil is now heading over to pick up the plasma beam. And this CAC decides to mess with ptoil and prevent him from running fast at that last second. Got a clean, great quick kill from Zeni. Zeni does need the Varia suit because otherwise Mother Brain's beam would deal 600 damage and kill him. ptoil just a little bit short on the plasma spark. So you lay that power bomb in the middle of the room like ptoil did, and I'll actually extend far enough to damage the two wall pirates because for some reason the wall pirates can be damaged by anything. So while the other pirates will take 2 shots, the wall pirates will only take 1 each. And they'll actually be active from being damaged and want to jump over to whichever side you're on. Alright, ptoil did a nice little dance on top of the door into the toilet. When you do that kind of thing, you kind of preserve your downward speed, and you don't slow down. Zeni just did the same thing on those powerbomb blocks, so he could continue falling down at full speed and not stop and start falling again. Let's see if Zeni gets some more normal botwoon drops, not the massive supers that ptoil got. Yeah, I see 3 supers is more normal than, I think, the 4 or 5 that ptoil got. Almost the Yahtzee. And we got a free super off of the Puyo, so that's actually really good luck. Those guys don't normally drop supers often. And a Powerbomb. Powerbomb's not a big deal there. We got a clean full halfie from Zeni. Alright, so you saw Zeni jump and aim down in front of the door after shooting the eye out. The camera is actually a little bit high after you land down there. And so when you jump and aim down, the camera scrolls down a little bit. So whenever you go through a door, it has to align the door with the center of the edge of the screen during the door transition. If you align the door before going through, then you spend less time inside the door transition. You can save a few frames that way. So that's why Zeni did that weird jump up and aim down. Alright. So, not the best Dragon fight, but good enough, and dropped enough supers for Zeni, and he got the spike suit for his return halfie. Meanwhile, ptoil is about to enter. At least I thought he had the spike suit. I must have seen it wrong. Wait. Oh. Okay, he's still carrying the spike suit. Okay, not. Zeni must have had some other plan for that spike suit. I wonder if he was going to try to do something fancy and Torian with that. If you carry a spike suit all the way to Mother Brain, then it is actually possible to do stand-up glitch in any percent. With this beam, it would save very little time, and carrying the spike suit all the way there is difficult. But apparently Zeni decided to have a little bit of fun race, and at least put in a good attempt. The difficulty in carrying a spike suit is if you jump in the air, if you do a straight jump, you set it off and it's gone. So you have to spin jump every time you want to jump. Or you can hold down, angle down, or shoot. If you accidentally aim up after a spin jump, you'll activate the spike jump, the spike suit, and spark, and lose it. So stand-up glitch is normally only possible when you have at least 700 energy, not counting reserves. So since this route only grabs 4 tanks, they would not have enough energy. We saw a slope spark attempt at the bottom of Terminator. So if you deboost off of one of the ravers at the right time, you can land on the slope early and interrupt the spark in a similar way to get a stored spike suit similar to what Zeni had before. It's just much more difficult than the normal spike suit setup. ptoil getting a kick in the pants from the Ninja Pirates. If you get them slightly off of the intended strat, they do mean things to you.
Alright, let's see this Ridley fight for ptoil. So ptoil just needs 20 of these charge shots, and it's already 4 of them down. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, dead. So Ridley's dead, and ptoil just needs a good pickup. And Ridley cooperates with ptoil. So good day. Okay, so should have been commentating on Zeni's super card, but maybe it's better not to mention it when somebody's low on supers in Torian. But Zeni got hooked up with the 3 supers that he really needed in that final Metroid room, so. If Zeni had not gotten any supers in that final Metroid room, he would not have been over. He would have had to missile all the doors and return to the refill room. That is a very clean baby skip. Zeni is actually far enough ahead that this save is useful. In a lot of Super Metroid races of any percent, there's not enough of a lead to load a save and recover, even if you die, so you have to do a deathless to win anyway. But with this much lead, Zeni actually has a use for that save. If Mother Brain somehow goes horribly wrong, or a couple of supers get sniped here, and Zeni can still recover from that. So this is going to be a 59 charge shot Mother Brain fight. The one super will count as the 60th charge shot for Zeni. And after 45 charge shots, we'll see the ketchup beam start up, which, if it can hit 2, will deal at least 100 damage. It can deal up to 300. You really don't want to take one of those. That onion ring combo was a bit rough. Not a lot of option to dodge when the ring does it exactly like that. So you saw Zeni hit the center of the bomb explosion, and for whatever reason, when you have Gravity Suit, the center deals 0 damage. Like, the rest of the explosion will hurt you, but the center doesn't for whatever reason. And there's that catch-up. You gotta know when that first one is coming, so that it doesn't catch you by surprise. When there's one of those meatballs out, Mother Brain will fire immediately after the meatball goes off. And you gotta be watching that to see when it disappears to be ready to dodge the next ketchup. So that ice shield adds a ton of lag for Zeni. Alright, clean parlor and Terminator for ptoil. I'm about to say 7 to 8 minutes behind Zenny here. Also a good time. These hyper beam shots, the more you have of them on screen, the more the game lags. So you see runners kind of stand close to the brain to only have one on screen at a time to minimize the amount of lag that you have during the fight. Alright, let's see what ptoil gets for super drops from the Metroids. Going YOLO on the first true, missing a bunch of their super drops, so gonna have to be more careful in these next couple of rooms. And missiling the second Metroid room. Only got 2 super drops out of the deal. Alright, so ptoil also leading with 2010 on the final Metroid rooms. Alright, get your GGs in chat for ShinyZeni, finishing with an official racetime.gg time, 42:42. ptoil is continuing forward, at least for now. No baby skip for ptoil. He's going to have to go into this refill room and fill up his energy the traditional way. Kind of nice of the developers to put this refill right next to the thing that drains you down to 1 energy. But I guess they kind of had to, since nothing down here drops energy. You can kill Rinkas all day and not get any energy back, so kind of need that refill room. Oh, 2, and one of them hit the wall. ptoil got sniped by a turret. So when the turrets are trying to shoot at your shots, it actually uses this 32 by 32 grid. And if your shot is in the same grid square as a turret shot, then the turret snipes your shot down. And that happened to 2 of ptoil's supers, so it's impossible for ptoil to finish there. So, good race from ptoil. We'll be moving on to the next one, which is going to be GT Classic. So we're going to take a break for a few minutes.